All right. Hello, hello, and welcome to a DV Night Talk. And of course, what I do here is speak a little bit about domestic violence, share a little bit of my story, also provide some encouragement while we sit and chat, sip on either tea or tonight will be lemon water. Or we do whatever that is. And it's almost like a DV Night Talk heart share. Tonight, I'm going to be focusing on this is a new year and focusing on getting rid of some old mindsets and old talking points that maybe you've had after coming out of domestic violence. Sometimes, even after coming out, we have to get our mind reprogrammed to think differently about ourselves. And it can be challenging, but it's not impossible, right? It's not impossible. So you might have some residuals, right? You might have some residuals of some thought process, but those things you take those thoughts captive, right? And you change that. You change that mindset. You change all of that. So I am going to change my layout so you guys can see me a little bit bigger. I just want to make sure you guys saw the line right there. Just rah. Oh my goodness. So let me put myself back in the middle. Hello, you guys. So here I am. So, of course, I decided to add a little bit of lights to the background. And in the back, I have some scriptures hanging up. And one of them that I like that I'm going to talk about, which is actually on my notebook here, Joshua 1:9. Up there is a Joshua 1:9 verse, a little bit of it. And it says, be strong and courageous. So I'm just going to talk about that, being strong and courageous. It takes a lot of strength to come out of a domestic violence situation. And it takes a lot of strength to know when you are able to leave that situation safely. And after you come out of that situation and after you've gotten all through the crisis mode and now you're on the other side of that whole leaf, right? And now you're rebuilding. You're rebuilding yourself. You're rebuilding your dignity. You're rebuilding all the things that was taken for you at the time, right? You're working on those things. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So I want to encourage you, don't beat yourself up. Sometimes you might reflect back and like, man, why did I stay in that situation for so long? I knew better. I knew what to do. Why? It is very pointless to go back and beat yourself up over the things that you didn't know and what your body was trying to do in the moment was to protect you and keep you safe. So I know it might take a minute to get over those thoughts, but don't reel on that. Why you didn't, how come you didn't move sooner? You should have, could have, would have. All those things don't matter anymore. What matters is that you made a change and now you're on the road to rebuilding, and the Lord is going to help you restore. So there's going to be some restoration, right? And you're going to keep on that upward trajectory, focusing on the high calling of the Lord Jesus on your life. So at the time when you were in that situation, you may not have had the knowledge. But from the framework that I'm always sharing about, I'm always talking about, the really great things. And sometimes you get caught up and you try to focus and you can get distracted. You can get distracted on your journey, focusing on the wrong thing and focusing on the wrong people. There are some people that just come into your life and they're really not there to encourage you. They're not there to help you along your journey. They're there to throw stones at you and kick you when you're down while you're taking your time to rebuild. Some people don't understand that. Some people will never understand that because they've never been through it. So all they can do is say, well, you should have done this. If it was me in that situation, I would have done that. People love to run their gums and jabber their jaws all the time. They love to do that. And they love to talk about all kinds of stuff, right? They love to just say the things that they think they would do. But until they've actually walked the shoe in a person who's gone through domestic violence, they really can't say. They can only speculate. They can only think in their brain, well, this is what I would have done. He or she will never do that to me, but they've never actually had to put themselves in that situation ever. And they've never been in that situation. And for me, I would never, never, ever condone any of that. And welcome. If you're here for the very first time, my name is T.drake, podcasting godmother of connection. And I am greatly happy that you're here watching and listening today. And if you're a replay viewer, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you happen to be on YouTube watching this. If you're somewhere else, still like, share, and subscribe and leave a great comment. So I am very excited that you're here today. So once again, distractions. Be careful as you rebuild, not to let the same kind of people come into your life and kind of drag you back down. Why would you want that to happen? You don't want that to happen, right? So we're going to take a moment. I'm going to switch it out again so you guys can watch that lion do what it does, roar, right? Because you want to show that you have overcome domestic violence. You overcame it. You can get through it. You can get past it. And it's not going to keep you stuck. You're not going to allow that situation to keep you stuck. You're not going to dwell in the past on those things. And it's horrible what some people have gone through. I'm not the only one that is a survivor of domestic violence. There are many, many others that live to have tell the tale of how they have overcome domestic violence. And helping people to know how to navigate through. Sometimes people don't understand the how is from someone that actually navigated it through. And sometimes the information that's provided from people that just have big knowledge is not the same as someone who has lived experience, that has lived it, gone through it, and can speak to certain things. Even if you've been out of the situation for a long time, it doesn't change the fact that there's some certain things that a person has to do in order to leave a situation. One, of course, is always making sure when you are leaving that you do not, under any circumstances, try to cause an argument on your way to leaving and exiting that situation, right? You could use the E word for escape. You could use the E word for execute, right? But whatever that is, when you are exiting that relationship, you don't want to cause an argument, not when you're trying to leave. Because for those that may not know, when you're leaving a very volatile situation, such as domestic violence, it is very, very dangerous. One of the most dangerous times for a survivor to leave that situation because that person is losing all control. You are leaving them. How dare you grow a mind, get independent, and all of a sudden you want to think and move and leave me? How dare you? Right? So, in the event that that happens, some people, unfortunately, have been unalived because of that, right? And that's not a good thing. So, during the time that you are making your provisions and making your situation like solidified as to what you're going to do, where you're going to go, one of the things you have to remember to do is always, always, always make sure you leave when it is safe to do so. I always, always stress that because you don't want to leave when you know it's not safe. You don't want to do that. You want to do it. And when you're calm and when you know where the person who harms, the aggressor, the abuser, where you know where they're at, and you're like, okay, this is the perfect time for me to make my move. And then you go ahead and do that. So for this year, if you find yourself thinking, how do I leave the situation? What do I do? You got to research that stuff for yourself. And if you work, it's a great place to start planning at your work. Write stuff down. Keep it in your desk if you have a desk, or if you have a cubicle, maybe you could put it on your computer, a little sticky post-it note, just some little things to jot down what you need to do. If you have children, take the kids out of school at this date, do stuff for the courthouse. Like, you're writing down all the things you have to do so that when the day comes and you need to execute, I would get my tongue twisted, execute so you can exit, you won't be scrambling for, like, what do I do now? Okay, what you won't have to do that because you've had it planned out, right? They call it a safety plan. which that is amazing to have a safety plan. But then there's something else that I like to add to the safety plan, because the safety plan gets everything in order, your important documents, where you're going to go, all of that. But your EPS, which is your exit plan strategy, that is for the day of the exiting, the leaving of that situation, how you're going to leave and where you can go and what you're going to do. For blow by blow, you're saying, okay, I'm going to be here in an hour. I'm going to be here. This is what I'm doing. And I'm not going to stop until I get to my said destination. And you have a time frame and you go and you don't look back. You just keep on rolling. You keep on going. So when I'm sharing this, and Joshua 1:9 talks about being strong and courageous, you got to step out on courage. And the courage that the Lord gives you is the courage that you run on, not courage of yourself, not courage of somebody else, the courage the Lord has given you. Because he's also said, listen, I'm not giving you like the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power of the, I'm not giving you the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. There we go. Okay, get it out of my mouth. And so when you have the fear, fear will halt you. Fear will put a hard pause, right? A full hard stop on anything you want to do. And you don't want to have that fear to be what drives you. You want to make sure that you're moving with intention. And that's my word for this year, intentionality. I'm moving with intention. I'm not trying to wait for somebody to help me with anything. I'm just praying to the Lord, and then I'm going. I'm doing whatever I have to do and making sure I continue doing what I'm doing for the Lord, not doing it for other people. And sometimes I have to be reminded. My daughter's like, so what if nobody comes? You're not doing it for them anyway. You're doing it for the Lord. That's what we have to remember. And I have to remember in my mind intentionally to do whatever the Lord would have me to do. And when you're coming out of domestic violence, you need to remember that, remembering that the Lord will guide you through your journey and on your journey, in your journey, all around your journey. He's there with you and you're not alone. So with that, this DV Diet talk was not going to be a very long one. And there's going to be more. And I know at kind of the tail end of last year, I kind of started doing other things. So I'm going to make sure that I try to make sure that I purpose for myself to at least come by a DV Night talk once a week to get that in. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on every Thursday night or Friday night. I'm still debating which night works. But with that being said, I want you guys to know how much I am thankful that you come by and you listen to this information, you listen to what is being shared, and hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it encourages you. Hopefully it puts you on the road for your independence out of a domestically violent situation. So with that, I want to thank you. A big kiss from me to you. Remember, I love you with the love of Lord Jesus Christ, but he loves you immensely way more than I could. And I want you to remember to be blessed, motivated, and always inspired to do what the Lord lays on your heart. Thank you guys again for listening. Lord willing, I will see you guys again on the next DV Night Talk. This is your girl, T.drake, podcasting godmother of connection, saying have a blessed night and stay safe. Take care. Bye now.